Chainsaw Man is one of my favourite TV shows currently airing at the moment. The show establishes character and character relationships in record time with none of it feeling rushed, and the twisted, cool and creepy world is given the opportunity to be. The opening is awesome, the endings are awesome, the action is awesome, it is all just awesome. Today, I want to talk about why I think Chainsaw Man's first episode, Dog and Chainsaw, is a perfect episode to introduce the spectator to the protagonist and the world he sees, and by extension, the world we see. Part 1. The setting. From the moment Denji opens his eyes, the world is dark. The colours are deep, earthly tones, but they are unsaturated. There are unpleasant looking greens and greys that sets the bleak world our protagonist lives in. As well as it being bleak, the world is empty, barren. With the cinematography done by Teipei Ito, many shots present Denji as small in this vast world, which creates a feeling of isolation. This shot here, he is placed at the corner of the frame, making him seem insignificant in the grand scheme of things. This other shot here shows the town he presumably lives in. With the mountainous landscape looming over the town, it suggests the isolation of the town as well, building on these layers that make this world feel closed off and oddly nostalgic. This sequence of shots allows the spectator to simply be with the character and get immersed in the world. Seeing as something as simple as Denji's slow walk with his slightly poor posture and his hands in his pockets tell us so much about the character, and the dynamic cinematography allows us to see this world from all angles to create a more fleshed out environment where the action can take place. This whole sequence is slow when it focuses on Denji. The shots last quite a few seconds, which is why it comes as a surprise when it cuts to Pachita, and the shot lasts less than a second. Without seeing any interaction between the two, the juxtaposition between the slow pace of Denji's shots and his walking speed, along with Pachita's quick shot and fast walking speed, alludes to their character dynamics. Pachita is fast and upbeat, whilst Denji drags us down. Denji is the anchor to a dark, gritty reality, whilst Pachita provides the alleviation from that. I mean, just look at him! Pachita's design is simple and cute, but is memorable due to his seemingly uncanny features. A cute thing shouldn't really have a chainsaw sticking out from his head. This is an example of how the show breaks record times to establish characters and their relationships to each other, which can be seen all throughout the show. For example, Aki and Himeno's relationship being shown with such clarity and depth with only a few short flashback scenes throughout episodes 5, 6 and 7. The first words we hear in this show talk about money, emphasizing its importance to the world and the protagonist. We hear comparisons on how much money he has received on different body parts he has sold and how much he owes to the Yakuza, allowing us to sympathize with how far he needs to go to get rid of his debt. As the episode progresses, Denji is put into this underdog position further where we can't help but root for him. This support for Denji gets tested near the end of the episode, but we will get to that later. Throughout the course of the whole episode, we get to see many different sides to Denji, allowing us a feel for his character. We see a gloomy Denji wandering the streets with Pachita. We see Denji talking about his dreams, and later he reconsiders if he should have been content with his life without those dreams. We see a sad Denji mourning the death of his father. We see a kind Denji allowing Pachita to take a bite of him to survive. We see a strong Denji. We see a weak Denji. And we see a Denji who is able to let loose and destroy the zombies in a moment of crazed power. One scene in particular that shows these sides is where a Yakuza member offers him the equivalent of 50p to swallow a cigarette. Denji more than willingly does so, seemingly blinded by the idea of a tiny bit of money, which makes us see him as desperate and obedient, a pushover. But straight after he does, we see Denji smile, and that he didn't actually swallow it, showing at least some self-respect and almost a win against the system in this small moment. Then he goes over and strokes Pachita, seeing a heartwarming side to him. He then says how they are now set for another 3 days, showing just how little Denji needs to survive in this world, how low his quality of life is. In the span of 40 seconds, Chainsaw Man is able to tell us so much about Denji alone. Part 2. The Horror. When Denji reaches the warehouse, the clouds slowly cover over the moon, darkening the image, creating the looming feeling that something bad is going to happen. This is supported by the fact we never see the Yakuza boss's full face, only side profiles and shots from behind. When Denji gets stabbed, it's silent, and we initially don't see the knife as the spectator wonders what could have happened. The horror is captured in the silence. Denji sputtering blood and then Pochita doing the same in the same manner reminds the spectator of their connection, just after putting them in critical danger, making us feel worse for their current situation. The following sequence actually gives Denji a chance to run away for a bit, teasing the spectator. He sees the exit and he even manages to throw something that stops one of the zombies, but the rest of them pass with ease. If Denji was torn apart by the zombies after the initial stab, nothing would change story-wise, but the fact it gives him even the smallest chance to escape with Pochita leads the spectator on, allowing us to sympathise with them both when the zombies do finally catch up to them. The zombies, with heavily unpleasant designs, stab Denji fiercely and wildly, and Denji's unfiltered screams, along with his inner monologue about wanting to have a normal life, allows us to sympathise with him further. The clouds drift away from the moon, containing the horror to just that previous scene. Part 3. Denji and Pochita. As Denji's head lies in the bin, blood falls from his mouth and drips past some money before reaching Pochita. This symbolises that money was the bridge that connected the two together. Without Denji's need for money, he might not have needed Pochita to hunt devils. We get an extreme close-up shot on one of Pochita's eyes as he struggles to awake and remembers what Denji told him about living a normal life. He reminisces about Denji's plan for Pochita if he died and how he wants him to live a normal life and die a normal death. It seems that characters in this world cannot do either of them. Pochita then rebuilds Denji and gives him another chance at life, a chance to live that normal life Denji wanted for him. The light fills the scene and it is the brightest moment in the episode so far, representing the hope Pochita's sacrifice has brought into Denji's life, his second chance. Pochita says how he always liked listening to his dreams and how he wants Denji to follow them. The difference between the two characters is that Denji only wanted a normal life for Pochita, but Pochita wants a better life for Denji, one that goes outside what is normal, one where he can follow his dreams. Pochita's reversal in Denji's wants and calling back to their first contract makes the sacrifice more hard-hitting, almost nostalgic. Denji saved his life before, and now it's Pochita's turn. Their relationship and the small arc it goes through is simple but very effective. When Denji wakes up and reaches into an open expanse shouting for Pochita, it shows how big of an impact he really had on him and the emptiness he now feels without his presence. Part 4. The Turning Point. Once Denji reaches out, the song Sweet Dreams by Kensuke Ueshio is played, which is also played during Himeno's death scene, this song being a motif for whenever a turning point takes place. We see some reflection in Denji at this moment. The editing shows the dynamics between the mindless zombies and Denji himself. The zombies run fast past the camera whilst Denji stays still and composed. There's a moment of unity as Denji compares himself to everyone else and how we all fantasize about getting an upgrade, followed by a moment of power as Denji rises above the zombies and faces them head on. The zombies are what Denji could have been. The whole episode has included hardly any action, which is what makes the high action and intensely gory fight that ensues all the more exciting. This is reminiscent of how the first episode of Invincible lulls the viewer into a false sense of security by playing out like a typical superhero origin story, with no gore or dark themes, only to throw it all at the end where Omni-Man murders the Guardians of the Globe. The fact Denji has been an underdog throughout the whole episode, and by extension the life we see he has lived, makes us root for him in this moment where he absolutely kicks some ass. Denji's unhinged cries of relief and joy performed excellently by Ryan Colt Levi as he kills the zombies and the zombie devil makes us happy for him to be able to get back at the cruel world. However, the spectator is also unnerved. It's almost as if Denji has been holding this rage in his whole life, and now he has the power, we don't know what he will do with that. He is unhinged, and we are unnerved. Part 5. The New Life. Light slowly envelops the scene as the morning breaks. It's a new day for Denji. A low-angle shot of people in suits walking in front of the camera shows complete dominance over the shot and therefore the world, before we know anything about them. Once they reach into the warehouse, we see the carnage for a bird's eye view shot, so the spectator gets a grasp on how much carnage Denji was able to inflict the previous night. Denji is looming far away, referencing his insignificance that we saw of him in the first sequence of the show. He has been reduced to a lower level again, reinforcing these mysterious people's power. Tension is created by the spectator, wondering how long he's been standing there and what he will do to these new people. We are introduced to Makima, who instantly dominates the space by walking up to Denji, who the spectator have just seen how powerful and dangerous they are. So her doing this communicates some otherworldly power, which, if you've watched the show, she does seem to have. She wastes no time in assessing the situation and taking advantage of Denji's vulnerability in the situation. The slow panning shot of Makima holding him and her smile shows that this is the moment Makima gets Denji in her grasp, which is a heavily important plot point going forward. Makima looks at Denji with cold stares and creepy smiles and speaks with a soothing and eerily calm voice, almost too calm, as if everything is always going her way. I wanted to take a moment to appreciate this beautiful shot, the carnage of the previous night taking the foreground, the light coming in from behind serving as a backlight, creating these eerie silhouettes, but also representing the light Denji feels from this interaction and the new bright life ahead of him. The shot also resembles an iconic religious image, the three crosses, which just looks awesome. As Makima holds him, the chainsaw devil part of Denji melts away, exposing his human vulnerabilities and suggests Denji's need for validation and affection by women, which is an incredibly important point for Denji's character. The last line of the episode is, "I think one of my best dreams just came true," which stimulates a lot of growth for Denji's character in the future. If he has already achieved his dreams, what is next? Making the spectator want to watch more. Chainsaw Blood by Vondi for the end credits is a great high-octane choice to get the spectator hyped up for the show to come. It's gonna be a wild ride. Thank you for watching the video and listening to me gush about one of my favourite shows for a bit. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like and subscribe to our weird little channel where we post just about anything you can imagine. Peace out!